What is up, homies? Welcome back to the channel. So I'm at work right now, test driving this truck. This is my first truck of the day, 9 o'clock in the morning. I just did an alignment on this truck, but it's also here for a check engine light diagnostic. I don't feel anything wrong with it, but I do feel sorry, I'm still waking up, man. 2016 Chevy Colorado with a V6 engine. Check engine light is on. I went on a little test drive right now because I just did an alignment on this truck, but it's also here for a diagnostic. So what I'm gonna do right now is hook up the scanner, check for codes, and I don't feel anything wrong with the truck. Maybe it does feel a little sluggish, but I don't know, that might just be me because I'm still waking up. So let me go back to the shop, hook up a scanner, and we'll see what's up with the check engine light. All right, guys, just got back to the shop, got the scanner here hooked up, and customer did also say that when his check engine light came on, his key fob stopped working, and he couldn't use the remote start on it. So that might be disabled because the check engine light is on. So this is automatic. Let me see. All right, so we're gonna go straight into trouble codes and see what's in memoria. All right, we got a P0171 system to lean, and we got a P0174 system to lean on bank 2. First thing I always do when I get system to lean codes is I go straight into the freeze frame, and I want to see if the fault is happening at idle or if it's happening under load. That'll tell me if I'm going in the direction of like a vacuum leak, or if I'm going to go after the mass airflow or fuel pressure or the fuel pump or something. So here we go. These are the 4 that I'm interested in, and it says long term is at 39%, short term is at 4%, and there's my RPMs. And this fault is happening at idle, 645 RPM. That is at idle. So let's go. Just out of curiosity too, I'm gonna go into the bank 2 to see where those fuel trims are at when the code's set. So here's my fuel trims, and you can see the short term was at 18% and the long term was at 40%. So there's definitely a lean condition, and like I said earlier, it is at idle. So right now I just want to see engine speed, and that was 590. So 590 RPM is idle. So this to me looks like a vacuum leak. Why did I get out of here? So what I'm gonna do right now is go straight into live data. I got the truck running right now, if you guys can hear it. And let's see, fuel trims right there. I'll go straight into fuel trims, and I want to see how the fuel trims are right now, and I want to see how they react when I give it some gas. So I'm gonna look at those 4, and you can see the fuel trims are at, the short term is at 24%. The long term looks like it's maxed out at 40, and that's on both banks. So I'm gonna give it a little bit of gas right here. Actually, let me show you. I'm gonna also bring in the RPM just so you guys can what's causing my lean condition. All right, so right here I'm gonna give it some gas. I got the long term, the short terms, and I got the engine speed right there. So I'm gonna give it some gas. You're gonna see the engine speed go up, and I want to see what's going on with the fuel trims. The long terms are coming down to 20, 22, 25. And if I release, the long terms go back up to 40. So this is an indication of a vacuum leak. So really quick, I just want to do a quick visual inspection under the hood and see if anything jumps out at us, you know, and listen for like a hissing sound, maybe broken vacuum lines or something like that. So 2016 Chevy Colorado, let's go under the hood. All right, guys, here's that 2016 Chevy Colorado with a 3.6. There's not much to look at under the hood, but when I came over here, I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I do hear a hissing sound. If you really pay close attention, you'll hear it. And the first thing that caught my eye was this hose right here. This hose. It looks like somebody, you know, it doesn't look routed properly. So I follow that hose back, and I can hear the vacuum leak around here. So I checked the intake duct. I make sure that everything was nice and tight there. The purge valve, I think that's the purge valve down there. and everything looks good right there. But when I follow that hose back here, Looks like that's our problem right there. I don't know. Yeah, you can see right there at the back of the engine. It looks like that hose is out of its place, and I think that's where our P0171 and our 174 is coming from. So what I'm gonna do right now is bring the scanner over here, and I'm gonna hook that up, and then we'll see. We'll take a look at our fuel trims and see how they react, and then based on that, we'll see if we need to keep looking or if that's our problem right there. So here, let me get the scanner from inside the truck. Come here. Okay, you can see the fuel trims right there. Short term 29, long term 40. What I'm gonna do, hey wait, do me a favor. Can you reach in there and plug that hose in? You see that hose in the back of the engine? Somebody? Yeah, just push it back into place. It has some clips over there también, güey. That is supposed to go. Is it in? Yeah, it's in. Okay, so let's see. Is it? Yeah, it looks like it's in. Alright, so let's just watch our fuel trims right here for a little bit. You can see the short terms going negative, so they're counteracting the long terms. I just want to see the long terms come down under 10%. And we'll call this one a fix, but I don't see anything else unless somebody removed this engine cover and there's something loose under there. But that's the first thing that popped out, so that's the first thing that I'm going to be looking at. Okay, let me go inside the truck and rev it a little bit. We might have another issue under the hood, but for now we got to start with this. So let me rev it up and see what happens. See if I can help the fuel trims out a little bit, or I might have to reset it and then watch where our fuel trims start off at. But that's where we got to start. We got to start with the obvious. That hose was out of its place, and that was a large vacuum leak. So I haven't cleared the codes. Check engine light still on. Our fuel trims came down to 14 and 16. So I'm gonna keep going here, and if I don't find anything else, we'll go on a test drive and just to verify, and then we'll verify that this is the only problem that we have with this truck. All right, guys, you guys can see I'm out on a test drive right now, and as I'm driving, the fuel trims are okay, but when I come to a stop, I can see that the fuel trims are like at 16, 15, and that to me tells me that there's still another problem other than that disconnected hose. So what I'm thinking is somebody took that hose off to remove that engine cover. So my next step is to go back to the shop, remove the engine cover, and see what's going on under there, because if that hose is disconnected, it's because they moved it out of the way so they can take that cover off, so they can do some kind of service, maybe like a fuel induction service or something under the hood. So let me pull this thing back inside. All right, so let me take it back inside, and we'll take off that engine cover, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, back in the shop. These right here are the fuel trims at idle. You can see the short term is at -2. The long terms are still at 18. They're not as bad as before. Before they were at 40, 39. But this right here still indicates that there is a lean condition. So this truck can't leave the shop yet. So I'm thinking that since that hose was disconnected, they took off that top engine cover. So they probably did something under there. And I got to take off that engine cover and have a look under it. So back under the hood and taking off that engine cover to see what's going on underneath. Alright, guys, got the cover off right here, and I'm just looking around to see if there's any hoses that are probably disconnected or broken, but I don't see anything down here. When I had the engine running, I did hear a hissing sound. Right now I'm suspecting the purge valve, just like we had on that Chevy Cruze a while back. But what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna put everything back. I'm gonna disconnect that purge valve, and then I'm gonna smoke the intake, because down here everything looks good. Everything looks nice and clean. Everything looks like where it's supposed to be. So Yeah, we could have a possible oil cap, the intake boot from here to here, and that brings me to this. Here's that engine cover for this Colorado, so we could potentially have an air leak in this duct or in this engine cover. Anywhere in here will give us a vacuum leak, and it'll set that P0171 because this is integrated into that. So I'm gonna put everything back and I'm gonna smoke it just to be sure, but I am suspecting that purge valve. I'm gonna disconnect it, put everything back, and start the engine, and then we'll take it from there. But we still have a lean condition on this truck that we gotta find. All right, guys, I got everything back, got the truck running. You can see down there that I have the purge valve disconnected. I got it disconnected from the hose and the electrical connector, and it looks like that's not a problem there. Let me see if you can see this. If I put my finger on the purge valve, better lighting. There you go. Look, it's not sucking any air right now. If this purge valve was bad, it would be sucking air through here, giving us that vacuum leak. If you haven't seen that video on that Chevy Cruze, go watch it. I'll show you guys how to check all this. But this purge valve is good. That's not a problem. So what I think sounds like a vacuum leak may not be a vacuum leak. So you gotta check in here, check your intake. Anything that goes after the mass airflow that can give you a leak, it's gonna give you a P0171 or 174. So this cover itself, if this cover has a crack, it's gonna suck in through here. It's gonna suck air in through here, bypassing the mass airflow, and it's gonna give us that lean code. All right, took a little bit of driving, but you can see the fuel trims right there. It's pretty close to zero, short term and long term. They're hanging in there. I'm happy with those numbers. So the story behind this car is that somebody did a fuel injection service on this car. I think they removed that top engine cover, and they pretty much just left the hose disconnected. So what I'm gonna do right now, what you can do is on active test, and you go under fuel system, not right here, special function. That's where you go. So you go right here to fuel trim reset. So you don't have to go drive it and wait for the fuel trims to reset. So you can see right here, long-term positive 10, long-term positive 8. They're not that bad, but what you want to do here is just hit reset, and it's going to reset all your fuel trims back down to normal. And this way you don't got to be waiting around. This way you don't have to be waiting around for, you know, waste time driving it or whatever. I'm happy with these fuel trim numbers. I think they're good. Check engine light is off. So I think that's it for this one. I'm going to go on to the next car, which is, what do I have over there? I got a Buick Enclave. We got a Buick Enclave that I got to check out for a, I think it's a power steering noise when turning, and also AC check. So let's go check out the Buick